Okay, so when I go over here to my Terra Dotta user homepage, I've got a lot going on in here because I have submitted a lot of requests for myself. So please ignore what's over there to the side because I am actually going to start a new request here. But if you did start one, this is where you could come back to finish it. So I'm going to go here to search forms by category. I am a new incoming student. I have just been admitted to the institution. So I'm going to click on incoming student, and I am an incoming undergraduate student. So I will go here to the Office of Undergraduate Admissions and Recruitment. I already know that I am coming on an F1 student visa, so I am going to submit the new F1 student request. If you have a question on whether or not you are an F1 or a J1 student, or which visa type is more appropriate for your case, you can go up here and click on this link where we have a comparison chart on our website comparing the F and J student visa types. But I'm going to go here and click on my new F1 student request. This is a request to join UW-Madison in the 2020 academic year. So this would include fall 2020. So I'll click that and select begin. Right now we have a lot of announcements going on with COVID-19. So you're going to see all of those over there to the right. Apologies for all of those announcements. These show up for all of our students, including our new students. But over here on the left-hand side where we start, you can see this is my request. That is my name. I am submitting the new F1 student request for 2020. You can ignore this deadline here. And here we have our instructions. So when you go through this, you are going to be uploading a copy of your passport page. We need that expiration date, your full name, so that we can match your legal name on your passport to your legal name on your I-20. We also will ask that you update or upload, your financial documentation that meets or exceeds the estimated expenses for your degree program, which can be found at this link. If you have financial sponsorship from a family member or friend, you will also need to upload the Affidavit of Support, which is hyperlinked here, and I can open this up to show you. Maybe go back while that thinks to open, as well as our estimated expenses here. You will then, so here, down here on the left-hand side is where you can attach those documents. You choose your file here and you select which document type here. Going back up here to the instructions, you are going to complete the immigration information questionnaire, which is here. So my immigration information questionnaire can be found here. You are, as a new student, you will also need to complete your document mailing information. This is where you can select your mailing option. If you're outside of the US, we highly recommend you choose the eShip Global mailing option. That's the expedited mailing that does come with a tracking number. So I'll click here on the immigration information. Are you currently present in the US on a visa? I am going to select no. Right now, I am currently on a beach living in Brazil. I'm going back in time because that's where I would rather be rather than sitting here slightly cold in my home office. So I'm going to click no and select next. So that's the only question on that questionnaire. If you are currently here in the US, you would select yes, and then there would be some additional prompts for you to answer. So you can see here, it's not applicable. I have completed that, but it doesn't apply to me. So now I am going to go here to my document mailing information. And I am an undergraduate student, so I will select that I am an undergraduate student. So the Office of Undergraduate Admissions and Recruitment knows that they are looking for my information. Please confirm the admit semester listed in your admission letter. I have been admitted for fall 2020. I am not admitted for summer term, so I am going to skip question number 3. And I am a new student in my home country, so I am going to select, we currently do not have the first 2 options here. You cannot pick up the document yourself, and you cannot pick up or you cannot allow someone else to pick up your document because all of our offices are currently closed due to COVID-19. So here is where I am going to select eShip Global because this is the expedited shipping option that comes with the tracking number. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to fill this out, but here, because I've selected eShip Global, I am going to update that I have paid for my shipment of my document. And so here's where you can follow the instructions. So if you go to eShip Global, you can put in you can create an account with them and put in your mailing information, your mailing address, as well as making that payment. You will get a confirmation receipt that then you can come back here and upload to this file. So I did not make my payment, but I am going to just upload my payment receipt here. You can save this if you need to come back to it later to edit, or I'm just ready to submit it now, so I will go ahead and do that. All right, so coming back down here, you can see I have completed my mailing option. If you have a spouse or a minor dependent, so a child or stepchild, a child under the age of 21 or a stepchild under the age of 18, you can add them as a dependent here. I do not have a dependent, a spouse or a child that I need to add. You can see here this is optional, so I am not going to complete that. The affidavit of support as a new student, I am sponsored by my family. So I am going to answer this question: is any amount of your tuition and or living expenses for you and any of your dependents funded by a parent, spouse, relative, or other personal sponsor? I am going to say yes and click next. And here it is just asking for you to upload your completed affidavit of financial support, which is this document right here. So you can download this, have your financial sponsor complete this information, physically sign it, date it, and then you can scan and upload it. We also have the funding information here in terms of what's acceptable funding and what would not qualify for funding. So again, I am just going to go in here and pull my copy. And again, you can save this to come back later, or you can submit it. So I'm going to submit mine. Coming back down here, you'll see that has been submitted. I'm going to jump back up here to the instructions. So only if you are currently in the US on an F1 student visa will you need to complete the SEVIS transfer and verification form. If that does not apply to you, then you do not need to complete that verification. So it does say one required here. we can't get that to go away for some reason. So that is not a requirement at this time if you are not currently in the US on an F1 student visa. So I am going to skip that. I'm going to come back up here to the instructions. So there are two e-signature documents that you will need to review and sign before you can submit. So those verifications, those e-signature documents are down here. So my financial verification form. You can print a record of this for your file, but it will save automatically to your Terra Dotta as well. So I have reviewed this information. I understand that I'm signing this document that I understand. I am going to accept. And now I will see here that my financial verification form is completed. I will go here for my personal information verification as well. This is verifying that my address information is accurate in my student center, and that information then feeds into your Terra Dotta profile in a 24-hour period. So I have verified that my information is correct in my student center. So again, I am going to click to digitally sign that. And now you can see, again, I have completed information. Here in number 9, you will need to review all of the instructions, all of the steps here in the instructions. So I am going to go through, okay, number 1, did I attach my documents? I actually did not. It says here, no documents have been attached. So I do need to select those copies of my passport page. So here I will say, here's my passport, and upload that. What else do I need to upload? I also need to upload my financial documentation. So I am going to go here and again, choose my financial documentation. So here, so either you have financial documentation from a personal sponsor or maybe from your own bank account. And here, this is if you have university financial support from the university. And so this is quite common for graduate students who might have an assistantship. So I do not have any university financial support. I just have my financial documentation from myself and from my personal sponsor, my family. So now you can see I have uploaded both of those. I have completed my new student affidavit of support questionnaire and uploaded that document. I have completed the new student document mailing information here and uploaded my eShip Global confirmation, and my immigration information does not apply to me. I am not currently in the US on an F1 student visa, so I do not have a verification that I need to submit, and I have done both of my e-signature documents. Both of those are completed. So then I will scroll up here to the top and click submit. And here your request has been successfully submitted. It does take on average about 3 weeks for the admitting offices to review the request and to issue those documents. In our current remote work environment, this may take a little bit longer as we do not have full operational access in our normal office environment. So we're making do by working from our home environment. I'm going to go back over here to my user homepage and see what I had just submitted. So I have a request for 2020 to Did not see that request document. I believe it is this one. Yep, so you'll see here, this is the one that I had submitted for review. So I can still go back in here and view some of that information. Are there any questions about the process? Morgan, do you have anything to add?
No, Sam, I do not. Hopefully that was helpful to students in terms of a walkthrough of what you would be doing in Terra Dotta to request the initial I-20. I did see a question came in from Jung Suk about, I tried to reply to it there in the chat. I don't know if, Jung Suk, if that helps or if you have any additional questions about your current situation with requesting the I-20. And I also don't know if it would be helpful for us to go over kind of the different steps from what Samantha just showed with requesting the initial I-20 in Terra Dotta, and then what happens next in terms of that being issued and mailed to you, and then what you do next with requesting or rather going in for your visa interview at a U.S. embassy.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second because it's getting confused on which one I want to share with you here. So I am going to pop back over here. That is a really great question in terms of the visa process and how to go through that process. So we did prepare a little bit here to help to guide through that. So kind of your pathway to becoming an international student. So we've already gone through the Terra Dotta portal information. So in terms of the visa acquisition process, of course, step one is you gain admission. So congratulations, you're here with us today because you have been admitted to UW-Madison, and we're super happy to be able to welcome you to our campus in the fall. So you've completed that step. Step two would be the process that we just walked through in Terra Dotta. Step three then is you will get an I-20 from UW-Madison. And so this I-20 and the information that this document, and this is for an F1 student, the information that is on this document is what you are going to need to complete your DS-160, and that is the U.S. student visa application form. So I will go over here and kind of pull up some additional information. So you're going to have a CVIS ID number. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to advance. You will have a CVIS ID number here at the top. That will be part of your visa application. Make sure that when you get your document that all of this information here is correct and accurate. Reach out to UW-Madison, to the person who issued your document as soon as possible if there is any information on here that is incorrect. Some other information that you're going to need for the visa application information is the school information here. So you have the name of the school, you have the school official information for the person who issued your document, which in this case would be a representative from the Office of Undergraduate Admissions and Recruitment. You would have the school address. The DS-160 application does ask for that, and the school code information. So just like you have a CVIS ID number that is unique to you, UW-Madison has a unique school code registered with the US government. So that's where you would find this information. Other information it might ask about is program of study information. So you can find that information here. What is also really important once you get this document is that you sign and date under the student attestation portion of this document on page 1. You sign here and you date on the line next to it with a blue pen. If you're applying as a J1 student, then you would be issued a DS 2019. This is the equivalent of the I-20 for a J1 student. So similarly, you're going to have a unique SEVIS ID number up here. The institution, so UW-Madison, has a unique exchange visitor program number that you would need for your visa application. So sorry, keep advancing. And that is found here. So again, make sure all of this information is accurate. And then you will sign down here, again in blue. So those are the two different types of documents and where you can find some of the information that you will be prompted to enter in your visa application form DS-160. So after you've verified that all of that information on your I-20 or DS-2019 is correct, it's accurate, your next step then is going to be paying your SEVIS I-901. This fee payment essentially activates that I-20 or that DS-2019. It activates that unique SEVIS ID number that you have. This fee payment is charged by the US federal government. This is not a fee that is charged by UW-Madison, nor do we have any control over the fee assessment, and we do not have access to the fee payment receipts. All of that information can be found at www.fmjfee.com. And so you can navigate there by paying the fee. You can also check your fee status. You will get a receipt notice. It is highly recommended that you print that out. I would actually recommend that you keep a couple of copies of that receipt notice because you will need that for your visa interview. You should also travel with that when you enter the US. And now we get to the step of applying for the visa. Morgan, can you walk us through a little bit of applying for the visa? What are some maybe good tips? Are there resources available where students can find additional information on preparing for the visa interview?
Yes. So trying to think of the best website, perhaps it's slipping my mind right now.
In the States?
I'm sorry, that's the one.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you go to the Study in the States website, you should be able to do a search.
Stop sharing this for a second.
Yeah, but on the Study in the States website, you should be able to do a search of be able to locate your closest embassy in your home country. And yeah, there's the website that Sam shared. And you should be able to, through that website, go about requesting an interview appointment. Is that correct, Sam? Not done it myself, but.
Yeah, so it is going to walk you through kind of step by step. You know, and there are some good tips on there. The DS-160 is the visa application through the U.S. Department of State. So you would fill that out, and then you are also through that online application system, you are going to then be able to schedule an interview with the local U.S. consulate. So currently, all U.S. consulates are closed for visa processing. And we do not know at this time when they will reopen. We continue to monitor the situation, but that information will be updated on those specific consular websites when they do reopen. It is still recommended that if if they are accepting visa application interview slots, that you go ahead and schedule those. I know some have just halted scheduling altogether. Others are allowing those to be scheduled. So jump in here and share my screen with you again here. So this is the Study in the States website here. And they have a lot of different tools down here for students as well as for schools. But this is a great site for any kind of broad information that you're looking for. Specific information for your student status once you're at UW-Madison should be directed to the ISS office. So you'll see here there's information on how to pay your fee, how to maintain your status, preparing for your arrival. So this is where this is a really great resource, applying for your student visa. So here they have 5 ways that you can prepare for your student visa. They do link here to the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Consular Affairs website. And so this is where you'll find the full listing of consular offices. And those are the offices that conduct the visa application and interview process, as well as actually issue the F1 visa or J1 visa stamp to students. So this is a really great resource to kind of bookmark for your records as you prepare for your visa interview. I'm going to go back and share my prepared PowerPoint screen here again. So once a visa is issued, it will look, it's actually updated a bit since this image. And of course, it's going to have your lovely photo here, your passport photo that you will need to submit as part of your DS-160 application form instead of our fearless Bucky Badger here. But you'll see here the visa type that I was issued is an F1 because I had an I-20 and I am coming as an F1 student. I'm coming to study at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, so they did note that there. Sometimes they don't, and that's okay. You will see that under number of entries, I have M, which means multiple, so that's good. That means I can use this visa as many times as I can afford, probably, until in between these dates, as long as I still have a valid I-20. Certain students, based on their country of citizenship, so students from Canada and students from Bermuda do not have to apply for an F1 or J1 student visa. Students from any other country do need to apply for an F1 student visa or a J1 student visa in order to be eligible to enter the US to start your studies. Oops, let me move forward here. So once you have your visa, that is kind of your permission to knock on the door of the US border. So that is your eligibility to enter into the US. So the Customs and Border Protection at the airport, or if you're crossing by land or sea, at your port of entry, they are going to ask for your F1 student visa stamp or J1 student visa stamp, which would be in your passport, and then they are also going to ask for your I-20 or DS-2019. Morgan, can you walk us through a little bit what a student can expect as they enter the U.S.? What are some of the next steps there? And then on the next slide, I have some information on international student orientation.
Yeah. So when you arrive at a port of entry, which I think more kind of conversationally is often referred to as customs, you will be speaking with um, Customs and Border Protection, so a CBP agent who will or official who will be wanting to see your different documents, and at that time you'll need to present them. So your I-20, your valid visa that you will have received at the U.S. Embassy in your home country. What Sam explained earlier, having a copy of your I-901 payment receipt, having your letter of admission to UW-Madison. These are some of the most essential documents to be able to have with you on your person and present. Of course, your passport, but your visa's in your passport, right? Is there anything additionally, Sam, that you think would be important to know in terms of that? I can tell you from my own experience that it's always kind of gets your heart racing. Even myself as a U.S. American, when I go abroad to another country and coming back, it just always kind of feels tense. But I don't think it is a reason to panic. It's just part of the process of coming in as a student, or even if you were someone like me, a U.S. citizen, kind of presenting this documentation.
Yeah, I would agree. It is it makes you a little nervous, but there's nothing to be nervous about. Just make sure that you are prepared with all of the documents, and we will send out newsletters. Morgan will talk about this in a little bit. Kind of preparing you for your entry into the U.S. One thing to point out is that with an I-20 that this is super small here, but in this top section, you'll see the form issue reason. And if you're outside of the US, the form issue reason is going to be initial attendance. And if you have an initial attendance I-20, then you cannot enter the US more than 30 days prior to the program start date on your I-20. There is actually an earliest date to enter that will be printed on your I-20. So that, as you're kind of preparing and purchasing your airline tickets, that's a very, very important piece to keep in mind. And then, so once you enter the US, hopefully, with no significant issues, just answering a couple questions, giving a nice big smile to the Customs and Border Protection officer, getting that, and getting into the U.S., making your way to us here at UW-Madison, in Madison on campus. And Morgan, what happens then?
Right. So once you've jumped through all those hoops, as we say, and you finally arrived to Madison and campus, then we are excited to finally get to meet you in person, welcome you to campus, and there are some different orientations that happen to help you get familiar with our office, for example, and a lot of the different resources that are available to you. Another thing that you will all be experiencing, and depending on what happens with the current situation with the COVID-19 pandemic, and whether fall classes will be in person or online, again, these are things we don't know at this point, but SOAR, the Student Orientation Advising and Registration program, that will be happening, and that will really be helpful to you in terms of helping you select classes and get registered for classes and other helpful information to get you oriented to campus. And that's for all undergraduate students. Also with our office, we do an international student orientation in which we share a lot of important information about some of the rules that you have to follow depending on your student visa status, if you're F1 or J1. So that's part of it, but we also we're right now in the process of trying to move to more of an online approach where you'll get to, hopefully by fall, and again, we're working on this right now, do some of these modules online where you would get to do the more of the kind of rules and regulations, those things online. And then when you arrive in person, it's going to be more focused on kind of the more kind of fun and engaging in-person sessions, learning more about our office and some of the programs that we offer for international students, um, learning about ways to get involved on campus and in student life, um, these kinds of things. So orientation, you can expect a mix of what we kind of call the meat and potatoes of the rules that are very important for you to follow due to your student visa status, but then also more of the fun things that will help you with your transition to campus, to studying at UW-Madison and living in the US. So those are a couple key things. I would mention one other thing I want to mention. There is a course for first semester undergraduate students offered through the Center for the First Year Experience. We call it CFYE. They are the ones who do the SOAR program. But they have a course that's called the Wisconsin Experience Seminar. We also call it CP 125. And that's a one-credit course that undergraduate students can choose to enroll in. And it really helps students adjust to academics and your studies at UW-Madison, as well as student life and learning about a lot of the different resources on campus that can support you with your academics, but also your life outside of the classroom. So I am very excited. I've been lucky that I will have the opportunity to teach one section of the CP 125 course in fall semester, and that section is specifically for international students only. So if you are interested in learning more about, I think, some of the resources and feel that you would like some more support with the academic adjustment to studying UW-Madison and learning more about ways to get involved in student life, these kinds of things, I would recommend looking into registering for that course. And thank you, Sam, for writing that out there.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Morgan. And just to point out, SOAR is specific only to undergraduate students. So not every new student goes through SOAR, but it is a really great program that we will be delivering in an online format over the summer to best prepare you to join us here on campus.
And I should just add also, Sam, I did not really go over it, but the ISS check-in is another part of orientation. So one of the things you'll need to do is once you've arrived is it is something we call the check-in. You can find out more information about what the steps are of the ISS check-in and kind of how our orientation has been so far. If you go to the ISS website and there's a tab about that says orientation, you can actually read more about those steps. And that we're working on transitioning to a lot of having these things more online for fall. So some of that information may change, but we are continuing to update our website. And one other thing I would add is we also, in past semesters, have sent out at least 3 newsletters to new students, new international students, before you actually arrive in the US. So if you would like to read some of those from spring semester and kind of get an idea of the kind of information we share and some of the things you can already start thinking about, you can look at those previous newsletters on the orientation section of our website.
Great. Are there any other questions that we can answer today? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to stop sharing here.
This is admissions here.
Yeah.
I was just wondering. I mean, I know that there's been a couple of people who've hopped on and off. We've had one person who's been pretty engaged with the whole thing. So just if they have any questions, feel free to ask them now and type them in the chat or whatever. And then yeah, so just if there's anything else that they're wondering. Otherwise, if there's a bunch of people, then I'd ask questions on behalf of everybody. But since somebody's very engaged, I'll leave the floor to them. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Justin. Yeah, Junsuk, if you have any other questions, you have us here, and we did record the session that we walked through, so that others who weren't able to join us can still benefit from the information. But we're happy to answer any questions you have. Doesn't have to be about anything that we reviewed today, kind of the nitty-gritty process of getting your visa and coming to campus, but even if you have questions about how to get connected or what to expect when you first arrive, we're happy to answer those. Great question. The placement tests in Korea are canceled, and they are canceled in many, many different countries. Getting an idea of when it will be starting again. Justin, do you have an idea from an admissions standpoint on when placement testing might happen, or if how students who are unable to meet the placement testing kind of requirements with what's going on worldwide, how they might still be able to meet that requirement? Okay, I'm not sure if he's still on the call. Excuse me. I am honestly not certain when the testing sites will open back up again. This is, like I said, a worldwide issue, and so it's definitely one that our admissions offices across campus are really monitoring. I don't have a sense of when those testing sites will reopen. My biggest piece of advice would be to monitor those websites. I am going to see if maybe admissions has something on their website that might be a starting point. I do not see anything immediately. Oh, here, maybe because I'm hungry. So it looks like the Office of Undergraduate Admissions and Recruitment is that they are very well aware of that. The disruption. They are considering all options regarding the required test scores, and they will continue to update their webpage. with COVID-19 specific information as more information becomes available. So I've just put that into our chat box here. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, many things are very uncertain at this point. And, we as an institution, and then our individual offices with our areas of subject matter expertise, we are continuously updating our website resources as additional information becomes available. Yeah, please continue to check back, and those updates will come. I imagine that that the admissions office will also connect with students who are missing certain pieces of information in terms of, looks like they're trying to jump on.
Yeah, so I just checked in with Katie in the admissions department, and she says that she basically echoed what you said, says that we don't know that yet. Sora's still figuring out that information since it has moved online, but as soon as we have something, we'll be sure to report it out to everybody.
Great, thank you so much for checking in and following.
Sure.
And similarly, the uncertainty continues. All of our summer courses have moved online. One of the common questions that ISS is receiving right now is, will fall instruction move online? At this time, we are, as an institution, we are still planning for face-to-face instruction for fall. Obviously, the health, safety, and well-being of our students and our staff and our greater community are of the utmost importance to UW-Madison. So as the COVID-19 situation continues to unfold worldwide, we will certainly be making informed decisions to benefit the health and wellness of our larger community. And so again, that may change, but at this time we are still preparing for face-to-face instruction, which means we are still preparing to welcome our new international students who are planning to join us from outside of the US for the first time for their studies here. So those are the plans that we still have in place. And if that changes, again, we will certainly message out. You will get several pieces of communication, probably from many different offices, ISS and admissions included, on what your options are for next steps. Are there any other questions that we can answer for you today? You've asked such wonderful questions. I'm really glad that you were so engaged, and you are taking the right steps to get prepared to join us here on campus to start your undergraduate studies. Oh, yes. Deciding on postponing your Army duty, I completely understand that. And that is something that, several of our students, do have to weigh these options. I know that, these are conversations that the campus is having, and as soon as a decision is made, everyone will be messaged. Moving fall instruction online is the last thing that any of us want to do, but if it is the right thing to do to protect our community, we will make that call, and that will be announced as soon as possible so that folks can make appropriate plans. So in terms of your military service, your military duty, if there is any, documentation that you need, such as your admission letter, anything of that nature, or, a document that we have not made a decision on fall instruction moving online, that will help you to, further delay that date that you would need to report. excuse me, please do not hesitate to reach out and ask for that. Also, several of our students who do have a mandatory military service requirement for their home country, we have had students start their program of study here, take a break for that 2-year period, and then rejoin us when they have completed that military service to complete their degree program. So, as a campus, we are certainly flexible in supporting our students who are being called in for military duty in their home countries, as well as here in the U.S. So, even if you do start and start your program and then need to take a break to return home, we can certainly support you through that process. Are there any other questions? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, John, for joining us today. We really enjoyed answering your questions and engaging with you in this virtual environment. I hope that you have enjoyed your virtual visit day and all of the well, actually, it's more of a week, I guess, and all of the different information and activities that are being shared. So if you have any questions related to your immigration status, please do not hesitate to contact us here at ISS. And in terms of getting that I-20, just monitor your email account, because undergraduate admissions, if they need any additional documentation from you, we'll communicate that with you via email so that you can then respond with any outstanding information that they might need to get you that document. Any concluding remarks from you, Morgan?
Yeah, I think I would just like to say that I echo Sam's comments, and thank you, Jinsuk, for joining us today and being part of the virtual visit. I would say, I'm actually a newcomer to UW-Madison and the state of Wisconsin. I've been here for probably getting closer to 8 months now. But there are so many amazing qualities about this university and this city and this state that I have already discovered. I think as an international student, it's a really special place. There's such a huge international student body here. I think based on numbers from last year, we were the 21st largest international student population amongst U.S. public universities. And with that, there are so many opportunities to meet other students from your same home country or other countries, or U.S. students as well. There's the Wisconsin Involvement Network, or what we call WIN, that offers a bunch of opportunities to get involved with student organizations. ISS has a bunch of great programs specifically for international students. We have the Bridge International Peer Mentorship Program, which is wonderful for students like yourself that are new in their first semester to meet other students and make friendships. We have our REACH Cross-Cultural Speakers Program, and a variety of other programs for international students. And that's just kind of the international student angle. I think even bigger than that, if you look at UW-Madison, just in terms of its wonderful resources as far as research and academic support, athletics, it's a big sports school, but there's also amazing facilities for students to use. I also, I know we're doing online instruction in the summer now, and in spring, so students aren't really active on campus. But if you can actually physically come here, I think you will also be very impressed with the city of Madison and the university. It's a wonderful size. It's not a huge city, but it's not too small. It's the capital of the state, a beautiful Capitol building, beautiful downtown, State Street with all these amazing restaurants, and it's on an isthmus, so it's this little piece of land between two beautiful lakes. So you can go jogging on the lake. You can ride your bike, even if you just want to go for a study break and walk along the lake. It's just amazing to me how it's a city with these wonderful amenities, but at the same time, there's beautiful nature all around you. And we also have Chicago that's only 2 hours away, which is a major city. So those are just some of the things I've observed during my time here. But I think, especially as an international student coming to UW-Madison, it's a safe place with a lot of wonderful opportunities.
Oh, great. So Jungsook's already visited us here in Madison, and he can relate. So that's great. Well, I think we are a little bit over time, but thank you so much again for joining us today. And please do not hesitate to reach out, and we look forward to welcoming you back to Madison, hopefully here in the fall. So thank you again, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, and on Wisconsin.